Welcome, sir.
Hey, thanks.
So, what the hell have you been up to?
Today or in life?
Well, I'd say probably in life. Let's start when COVID ended.
When COVID ended.
Yeah, let's not talk about fucking anything to do with COVID.
Sweet. I mean, just running like a maniac, man. It's like I don't think you can talk about life now without at least addressing, because
Sure,
we're
I'm
all
kidding,
picking
yeah.
up the pieces from like changing the game. Everybody hates the fucking word pivot, but
Yeah.
it's that's all we did. It's once there was a rule in place, you moved towards it, and then they changed it, or like you weren't allowed to do outdoor seating, so you were doing this. So I don't know. It's like I think more than anything right now, it's coaxing your longtime employees into remembering that we're late night, we're bar again.
Right.
I think morale is the number one thing. I mean, obviously you're staying on top of numbers every day and stuff like that. But I mean, people always ask me, what place are you at the most? And I always say my car. Like I'm either in my car or in front of a computer, which kind of sucks, but I don't know. We're getting there.
It's a tough game now, man.
It is.
Labor's it's everywhere, too.
It's getting better though, dude. Like I'll tell you what, I have a feeling July 4th was a lot of people's line in the sand, because like on the 5th I got like 7 applications
Really?
where I was like, they're not awful,
Right.
And also like through this, it kind of opened my eyes. I'm like, screw it, dude. I don't care if you're trained up. I'll give you a shot.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like you're dealing with our managers who, for a good reason, are pretty exhausted right now. So it's like you're expecting them to take somebody so green and mold them when, I mean, let's be honest, man. A lot of people need some like recovery from this shock time,
Yeah, true.
But
True.
we're getting there. I mean, I hope that we're as easy to work for as people say. But, I mean, it's just a tough time, dude. I'm thrilled with the way, I'm thrilled with anybody that has made it through this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel strong.
Good.
Yeah.
What's your give us your origin story? How you got in the business and what brought you into the business?
Well, I started at Bassett's Turkey at 15th and Locust.
I know that one.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's in Penn campus.
No,
Right?
15th and Locust. I went to UArts.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Oh,
I was born-
one up. There was one up at Penn's campus or something.
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
sure, but whatever. It was like huge. But now I think there's like one in the Reading terminal. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't start there. I mean, I had a job there, but that was before I knew anything. I guess my first actual job in the business was at this place called Tony Clark's. It was on Broad and Sansom, and it was a celebrity chef place. And like, there was a celebrity chef and 2 other partners. One was a builder. The other one was Italian. And it was cool. Like, I had no idea, though. I had no idea about, like, fine dining. I tell people all the time, I'm like, yeah, so, like, they made me a food runner, and it was this dude, Andreas Bakar. This Austrian dude who, like, I walked in, and I could tell they were just opening, because, like, now I look back, and I'm like, I've been in that position where somebody walks in the door, and
you
you're
see
just
the
like,
signs now,
I
right?
just need someone. I just need someone to walk in the door. And I walked in the door, and he's like, so you very much look like you could be in this business, so you come back Thursday. I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, just black pants, white shirt. I showed up with black pinstripe pants. He's like, you cannot work like this. You cannot work. So I like left. And then I came back with black pants next time. But the dude was great. And honestly, I ended up working with him, working with that guy in 2 different places. I worked there, and then at Founders, the top of the Bellevue. Now it's, I think, 19. I think it's still 19.
What year was this?
God, years.
When Zanzibar was there?
Zanzibar was still in the basement.
Yeah.
Place was great.
It was.
I think it was. I was out of college, so I think it was like 98,
Okay.
99. Yeah, and I went to college for musical theater. So right out of college, like another place I worked in between Tony Clark's and there was Moriarty's.
Oh yeah.
So like everybody and their mother that owns a bar apparently worked at freaking Moriarty's at one point. James Stevens that owns a Black Horse did own the Dickens back in the day.
Great wings.
Yeah. I mean, they ain't Pistolas wings, but I just tons of people like but it would like I got into a habit of working at places where I'd work there for a little while and then I'd get a tour of a show and I'd be like, I gotta go, and then I came back to Philly after this tour of To Kill a Mockingbird and I got this gig in Old City. I was wearing like the tricorn. I was in this band called the Liberty Tones and I was making great money. It was like $40 an hour in like 98, 99. But it was only like 20 hours a week. So I'm like, let me get a job somewhere else, like so I don't spend all the money in my off time. So I got a job at my college local, which was Fergie's Pub. Nice. I was a dishwasher there. And then I went to Cold Side Guy. And like best laid plans, but I mean, geez, like the whole plan was to not spend my money. I just partied my money away. Like I tell barbacks and shit all the time. I'm like, I wish I had someone on my shoulder. Like I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a time where you don't have insurance and you break your ankle. Or you do this, like save some of the money. The pen and pencil is not going anywhere. Yeah. Like,
still be open till 6 a.m.
Like, you'll still go. Fergie made it look easy and he made it fun.
Yeah.
Now at Fergie's, there's a downstairs bar and an upstairs bar. But when I was going there and when I was working there, there was not that upstairs bar. So he built that bar and I was the first bartender at that upstairs bar. My first bartending shift ever in my life. And I owe it to this dude, Declan Dugan. Well, and Fergie, obviously. But Deck put in a good word for me. He was our bartender back in the day. He's like, this guy's he can be a bartender. So my first shift ever was at that upstairs bar. St. Patrick's Day fell on a Sunday, and I was there on the Saturday. And I worked a double. I was like,
no shit.
What? And like figured it out. I mean,
getting thrown in the fire.
Yeah,
man.
But it was great. Like I remember, I like early on in the day. Like, talk about rookie mistakes. Early on in the day, there were like 9 people, maybe 15 people in the room. And, they were obviously already fucking hammered. It was like probably like noon or 1. And I was like, well, why isn't it busier? Why isn't it busier? And like, I'm like, you're not drinking enough. And Fergie's like, don't ever fucking say that again. Don't ever. Don't say that. And like, sure enough, 2 hours later, I was like, yeah, I'm never saying that again. I mean, I learned so much from that place. Good stuff, bad stuff, intermediate stuff. I met my wife there. Like, awesome. I love it. I ended up, I was still doing shows at that time. I did a show at the Arden called the Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing. It was great. And in the middle of like tech rehearsal for that, and if you guys have ever been in a show, tech rehearsal is the most boring time of all time. You just basically stand on stage and they focus lights and then they say, move 1 step to the right, and then somebody marks it, and they're like, that's your spot now. And like, but it's hours and hours on end. And the casting director comes up to me and it's like, listen, we want you to come in for an audition of this next one. And I was just like, yeah, I think I quit acting. And like, I didn't. Like my college, our theater director, this dude Paul Berman, it's like old, is crusty, and just always had Marlboro around him. He said, he's like, if you're an actor, it's your entire life. Like your whole life, you will be an actor. So it's like at that moment when I said that, I knew that I wasn't giving up acting forever. I was just like, it ain't working for me, dude. I was like 24. I was making like $180 a week after taxes, but putting in like 40, 50 hours of rehearsal. And I was like, what the, how? And like, then on my one day off, then I would work at Fergie's and like
to make up the difference.
Basically make it. So I stopped, and I kind of went the only reason I ever went into acting was because it was an easier way to sing more. Like I'm a singer. I remember that before I remember talking, and I just kind of went all in on writing music and singing for a long time, and I ended up taking over the booking at Fergie's and hosting their open mic night for a long time, putting together my first original band. It was named after it was called Casey Parker and the Second Floor, which is the second floor of Fergie's. And it was dope, man. And that second floor is still like, I mean, it's crushing so much harder than it was back then. Sure. But we were starting from nothing. Yeah. You know, like they had Quizzo and a couple other things once in a while up there. It wasn't as crazy as it got. And now it's like just insane all the time. So, I mean, that's basically the beginning.
What years was that when you first started working there upstairs? I
think I started there in like, so if I'm thinking about it, what did I say? I said 98 for Founders. Yeah. I was at Tony Clark's in like 96 while I was still in college. I think I started working for Fergie's in probably 98, late 98 or early 99.
That's exactly.
Because they'd only been open like about a year.
Right.
You know? I wasn't there from the very beginning, but I was there pretty early on. I think they were only open for like 1 or 2 years. I'm not 100%
I was working at McGillen's from time to time across the street, and we'd take breaks and we'd go to Fergie's and just knock back a couple shots and a beer and then go right back to work.
Yes, sir.
It was a lot smaller town back then.
Yes, sir.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, dude, the only bar.
I remember the second floor opens. We probably crossed paths back then.
Definitely, dude. If you were, when that second floor, when that bar opened, then we absolutely were in the same room. You might have been one of the guys that Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, where I was like, dude, I remember like the next day, because I went back in for St. Patrick's Day the next day, another double, and like I remember immediately, like somebody punched one brother punched another brother, and he was bleeding into a shot glass. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's some Boondock.
All right, well, let's go. Let's go.
It's time to go.
But I mean, dude, like the only bar other than McGillen's was Full Moon Saloon.
Yeah.
And Ludwig's, I don't think was there yet. I can't remember when Ludwig's came on the scene, which is now Time.
Right.
It's where I watched the first Eagles Super Bowl where we lost.
Yeah, the city was wild back then, man. It was a lot smaller than it is now as far as that food and beverage goes. Like you knew everybody. Like I was working in Old City.
It was smaller.
Yeah.
But it was also just as high quality.
Sure,
like there's always been this undertone of the next level in Philly. Like even predating those times, obviously. Like Jose Pistolas. Before it was Jose Pistolas, it was Copa 2. And before Monks was around, Tom Peters, that owns Monks, who is like the Mac Daddy patron saint of craft beer in Philly, or international beer in Philly, he was the general manager of Copa 2. Wow. Like I remember in college trying to get in there underage. He's like, "Oh no, you can't come in here." And I'm like, well, "Why?" Because you're under 21. Jerk off. And then he was the officiant in my wedding. But like Fergie and Tom, I owe so much to those guys for just, I don't know, like kind of putting up with us back then. Because like I don't know about you guys, but I look back and I'm like, God damn it, I was a fucking dick.
Yeah, I think about that too.
Or not even I was a dick. I was just so
difficult.
That's a great, because it's, I don't want to say naive.
Right.
I don't want to say dick.
You knew everything.
Difficult.
Yeah, you knew
Sure. It's like, I mean, now I have 2 fucking kids. Like, please don't go that way, but they're gonna.
I remember some shifts working that I should have just been sent home. You know what I mean? Whether being hungover or just being, absolutely. It's funny how you look back on life like that, where you're like, I was such an asshole at that time.
Yeah. I was never a drinker behind the bar.
No.
Like, I couldn't do it. I think I smoked pot once behind the bar, and I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
and I was
that
like,
doesn't
I
work.
can't do it. No, never again. Like,
You're so slow.
other than like,
You're so slow.
midnight doing a shot with the people that have been there all night. But I was never that guy that would like have a beer going all night or a couple shots through the shift. I just like
Listen, if you're getting fucked up behind the bar on a repetitive basis, you're not lasting long.
no.
You know what I mean?
Well,
You're gonna have fun. You're gonna make money for 2 or 3 weeks, and then
right. I mean, there are people that do. I worked with some of them,
Yeah.
but like Jesus. But it was for me. It was more like quitting acting. That was my stage.
Right.
You know, I felt like
great point.
I felt like that was the performance. You know.
Yeah. So what brought you into being an entrepreneur? What was your decision? Like, God damn it, you know what? This is what I got to do.
I mean, me and my buddy Joe Gunn, that's who we named Jose Pistolas after. It's Jose Pistola. We worked at Fergie's together for a long time. And I left before he did. And we had, like, way too many times. Like, that being said, like, not being a drinker behind the bar, I was totally a drinker after 2 a.m. in the bar.
Right, sure.
It's like,
Watching the sun come up every day, right?
we had the best game. Me and him would play coasters, and it was basically we'd take one of the high top deuces. It was a round deuce, and we'd put it so it was round, and it was a little bit far away from the table, but probably like 15 feet between us, maybe like 20 feet between us and that table, and we'd take the hard coasters, and it would just be basically like quaits or like fucking horseshoes, and we'd just like drink and just like play coasters and like fucking chat and like wax poetic, solve all the world's problems and shit. And just over a while, we just started talking about opening a place. I kind of thought it wasn't going to happen, and then he came to me a while after I had left, and he said, "Yo, I've been working with a broker. I think I found a place." And the place that he thought he found, we didn't go with, but we just kept looking, and we found Copa 2.
Nice.
And it was just like, all right. Like, I mean, like any entrepreneur, I don't know, not like any. The way it went for us is we almost blew it a couple times. Mm-hmm. But we made some smart decisions. We asked some smart people's help, and we straightened it out.
Good.
You know? But I don't know.
I think you'll find, I found in this business, there's other owners, for the most part, the ones that are in it for the business, they want to help. Like, I'll go out of my way to help other bar owners. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, I love to do that. Like, especially something I'm like, my background's tech, right? And all that. So when I can go solve a problem that they've been sweating for weeks and didn't know how they were going to get, we're going to throw all this POS system out and put in a whole new one. And I can come in and fix a few things and maybe like make the process a little different, maybe configure it a little bit different, and then boom. It's like now this backs up to Google every night. You'll be fine.
And you didn't just spend an extra 10 grand.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
What do I owe you? Give me a beer.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's how it should be. It's and like you being in tech, it's such a joke. Like, you like, I did not at all expect you to be the guy that opened up Marty's, and I'm sure you hear that a lot. But like, here I'm fucking sitting with the Pope of Prospect Park.
Absolutely.
And it's like, what the fuck?
That's a good one. I like that.
Dude,
I used to call him the Lord of Lincoln Avenue. But
dude,
I like the Pope of Prospect.
Pope of Prospect Park. I'm telling you.
I like that.
Like, he's got this shit. Lockdown. Like, and like, you make impressions on people. And like, I hope that I do.
Yeah, you do.
I think we all hope we do. But like, you, before I knew you, Fergie, I was just like rapping with him on the phone, and he's like, a place called Marty McGee's. And I was like, yeah, I fucking drive by it all the time. I've been in for like a beer or two, and it was like before you built a bunch of shit. I'm like, it's something I like about it. And he's like, I met the fucking dude in an airport. He seems like a really fucking good guy. Just check it out a little more often. I'm like, I will.
Nice.
It's like,
how old is Fergie now?
Like 40,000. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I really don't know. I think, what am I, 46? I don't think he has 10 years on me. So I think he's maybe 55.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I've known him, and I met him a long time ago, but I was like just a nobody, like, you know, went to Drexel and dropped out and hung out downtown for like years, and worked at like back in the day, like shampoo, and like bounced around doing all kinds of work.
Shampoo.
Yeah, shampoo in Egypt, and then you know, did some bouncing at McGillen's, and Kate liked me at McGillen's. So everybody else that annoyed the shit out of pretty much everybody else, because Kate hated everybody else. But and it just and I knew Fergie, and I'd say hello to him and he'd say hi and everything. But I was in Dublin Airport at the baggage claim, and I'm like, I think that's Fergie. And I hit him up on Facebook. He's like, yeah, come to my local. So we went to like his local, like the bar he hangs out at.
Awesome.
And we just, you know, just drank one night all night. It was awesome.
That's great.
He's
a great
such
dude.
a cool place to meet Fergie.
Sure.
In Dublin, you know.
It's great. The first time I went to Ireland was for his wedding, dude. And again, I think back to then, I was just so young. Yeah. I was just so young. And like, I've been to Ireland again since then, but like, I had such a good time, man. Oh my God. I remember I was traveling with my friend Suzanne O'Brien, who is a brilliant woman in this business, who she's probably too busy to get a hold of, but she would be a great thing. Great. Like, she basically runs the companies for the Khyber, the Royal Tavern, Izakaya, all those places. She's the shit. Like, we actually hired her as a consultant at Jose's when we about partied it to the, you know, she married my best friend, but like, I traveled to Ireland with her, and for the first like 2 days, I was hanging out with her and this woman, Emily Bittenbender, who has known Fergie for years. She owns Bittenbender Construction. And it was cool and all, but I was like, where's Ireland? You know? It's like, I didn't know shit. And then Fergie's best friend, Cameron, this fucking crazy Englishman, just like, he's like not in town yet, and like we're in this parking lot, and like in a 3-wheeler car, fucking pulls up and like spins out, and he gets out of the car. He's like, Casey, baby, come on, let's go. And like, I get in the car with him, and I don't see anybody for 2 days, and then it's like,
out of a
yes,
Guy Ritchie movie.
Here we go. You know, it was fucking awesome. Yeah, I had a great time there. Jesus.
Yeah, it's an incredible country.
Yeah, I've had some really good trips with those guys.
So Pistolas, that was the first name on the wall?
Yeah,
for you?
well, Jose Pistolas, that was the first bar.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, my boy Joe and I had talked about doing something forever, and when I wasn't at Fergie's, he came to me and was like, yo, I think I found a place, and it wasn't that first one, but we kept looking and found Jose's. It was, I mean, it's everything we wanted, dude. It's like the
layout
perfect.
Yeah, great location.
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, worst layout ever, but that works for us because
Yeah.
we're like not inside the box kind of dudes.
Sure.
Like, I mean, bathrooms on the third floor bathrooms, gentlemen. All right.
Oh, I just hear a lawsuit when I hear that.
Like, there's just so many things we can't do with the place because if we do too much, it triggers ADA.
Yep. Level 2
like,
construction.
So it's like, all right, and like, it's not that we don't want to like make the place more accessible, but we just lose so much footprint by doing that.
Right.
And the building's historic, so like there's only so much you can do, and it just turns into a huge money suck. But yeah. So I digress. Jose's first one was awesome.
What made you go into Mexican cuisine?
Honestly, I think that was more Joe than anything. Like, before we opened a bar, Joe, I can't remember the guy's name. I think he worked with him at Trust, or was it El Vez? I can't remember. But they were thinking about opening like a burrito shop in, what was it? The place that used to be Suburban Station, but now it's some other name or something like that. They were thinking about doing that, and the whole concept was like, it's low food cost and it's delicious and everything. And
yeah, good cross utilization.
Yeah, and I'm sure Joe would tell a completely different story, but like, I kind of feel like at one point I was like, but why don't you want to open a bar? It's just food, you know? And anyway, that thing didn't work out anyway. So like, and we just like, it just made sense. Like, we were always about like killer beer.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't have any crap on tap, and no offense. Like, I mean, if people want to drink Miller Lite, cool.
Sure. Yep.
In our place, you can buy a bottle of it for $6.
Right.
Or you can have a pint of Bell's Two Hearted for $6.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's like...
I don't think people realize when the consumer realizes that you're buying atmosphere when you go out. You know what I mean? You're buying atmosphere in the rent that you're in. And people look at it as the product, but it's not, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true to a major degree.
Yeah.
I think definitely product has something to do with it. Like for the first like 5, 6, maybe 7 years. No, probably like for the first 5, 6 years, we tried to get by in the kitchen. Actually, that's not really true. We opened with a guy, this dude Trevor Budney, who was from Elvez, and he had a really dope menu, and it was really high quality, but like we weren't fitting. Like it just like we didn't really know how to run the kitchen yet and all that stuff, and it like he was only with us for a little bit. And then from there, we went through like a bunch of different people that, you know, one of them, this dude, Brenton Wallace, was really good, but it still wasn't like necessarily the direction. We didn't have the direction. Mm-hmm. And there was a certain point where, and I think it was honestly at a point where we went through a couple really bad guys that, like, we didn't really think we had the money to hire the dude we wanted to hire.
Right.
And we did it anyway. And 6 months later, we had our second place. And that dude, Adon Trinidad, he's our chef. He's our executive chef at all 3 places. And he's dope. He was Garcis's sous at Elvez. He had, in Philly, he was the first chef at the Waterworks when it first opened up. And then he went and worked for this dude, Richard Sandoval in New York, and like went to Dubai and all this shit. And like, it's just dope. He's Latino, but his cuisine is intelligent. It's all over the board. Like it's traditional, yet there's a fusion aspect to it. Like he does a lot of Mexican Asian fusion to me, and it's just so dope. You know, it's so dope. Awesome. And it changed the game for us. Like we were always like, in my favorite thing about Philly and the beer scene is that you can fall off your stool and find good beer.
Yeah, right.
You know, to fall off your stool and find incredible, amazing food at like, it's a little harder. Not that hard because we're a great city, but he changed the game for us, in my opinion. But yeah, and then there was just Joe and I always wanted to open a place that it was kind of like if we were living together and throwing a party. So it wasn't like it was thought out,
sure,
but it was also like, meh. Like, well, let's do this.
I feel that.
Let's throw this and see if it works.
How about your second location? Was the concept, you know, take this party to a new area town, or was it like, you know, like was it a copy concept or just different?
We always had this idea of every Pistolas that we would like add some other element to it, at least from Jose's before we had a second one. So like when we first opened up Sancho's, we're like, all right, raw bar. You know, and Sancho's was way different. Like, it's so small. It's so small. I think, and we love to like pack them in. Like you're on top of people, sitting on top of people, and like we could maybe seat maybe 65, 70 people in there. You know, and the bar's wrap around, so the bar is like 50% of that. You know?
Right.
But like we're in the beginning, we opened up with like king crab legs and all this stuff, and it just didn't quite work. I don't know. It was like, so then we just kind of, but yes, we wanted to be that dope beer bar that also had really killer margaritas and everything. But we found out quickly at Sancho's that everybody wanted margaritas. So we just kind of tweaked and went that direction a little bit more. But the difference is, like, because we went that direction, it's not like we're changing our, like, all right, well, let's have Miller Lite and Bud Light and, you know, Philly's Bud Light bottles and stuff. Like, it's just not what we do, you know. Cool, if that's your game, go for it.
Sure.
But, like, you know, you can have the best margarita in the city, in my opinion, humbly, or you can have an Orval, you know, or Cantillon, or Bell's Two Hearted, or Russian River Blind Pig. You know, like, and yes, at this point we could probably make a better percentage if we dumbed our beer down. But it's just not why we're in it.
Yeah.
It's not why we're in it, you know? It's not why I drink. You know, I don't drink to just get hammered. Like, I don't, honestly, at this point, I don't think I could really get drunk off Miller Lite. I'd be too bloated by the time. Like, if somebody said, get drunk off this beer, I'm like, I don't know. I think I would be too bloated by the time it started hitting me, you know, but who knows?
Sure.
What were some of those? So, you know, the second location, I'm you know, I always think about the days when I opened up number 2, and it was like, you know, 0.6 miles from number 1. So it was like, everybody thought it was crazy, right? But so I knew that was like a whole set of challenges that I had to deal with, right? And a lot of it was just being different. And for me, the reason why I took the plunge and picked up what was called Prospectors at the time was because I would go in there, and I go in there like once a month, and on a different night, and I'd buy around beers, and I would know somebody in there, right? And they'd be like, hey, thanks, Joe, whatever. Say hello to a few people, and, you know, I asked them, well, where do you go drink? They're like, this is our spot, this is where we go. And I was like, okay, well, you ever been up the road, Marty's? Nah, we just kind of like it here. And I'm like, all right, I get it. And, you know, you look around and you're like, all right, this place could do X, you know, maybe add a few things, put a little bit better menu in here, it can do Y. I don't think it needs to do much more than that to be pretty self-sustaining and, you know, to do good. To do good as a kind of standalone unit, if you will, standalone kind of location. And so I'm always curious what, you know, in your case, that number 2 spot, you know, what were some of the challenges initially, or what were some of those kind of fears when you opened up that second location?
I gotta be honest, man, fear has never really been a part of our game. Like, for better or for worse. Because I definitely think if there was maybe a little bit more healthy dose of fear, or at least apprehension, that we might have made a few less mistakes. But, you know, my beer line guy, Bob Kerrigan, he reached out to me, and he's like, man, I don't know if you guys know Bob, but he can barely hear anymore. You know? And he's like, he's the man. And like, he's like my Italian teacher in high school. If you didn't do your homework, you roll in and start getting them talking about college football, and 45 minutes of class is gone. Like, if you run into Bob and you don't want to talk about business, just start talking about the Eagles. But Bob said, he's like, these guys, they own a place. I think it would be perfect for Pistolas, man. It would be perfect. They own the building. They built it out, and it's called Bubba's Texas Barbecue. And I just, you know, I don't think they want to, like, they had a partner, the barbecue guy, and he just kind of flaked out. I don't think they want to run the business. I could put you in touch. And he did. And I met with very big, very high on our list is relationship with Landlord. Yeah. You know, like, I'm not sure if you own your places, but we don't. We rent. And but it's huge. Like, even when I rented apartments, like, even like if I like in college when I didn't clean enough or kept the place like shit, I always made sure to be nice to my landlord. Mm-hmm. Try to pay the rent on time. You know, and like when I met Steve and Stacy, they were just like awesome folks. They just had a great vibe. It was like, I think from what I understand, the 2 people in the running for the place were us and the dude Tommy Up that owned Yachtsman. And Yachtsman is what he was going to put in there, but they ended up going with us. I mean, I don't know, like geographically it didn't, it was in Fishtown, totally different neighborhood. Like, but what you said before, that's something I thought about before, because when Fergie and Tom from Monks opened up Notting Head, everybody's like, why? It's like so close. Right. But both bars were dope as shit. Right, like, sure. Like, and I myself was like, it's so close. It's so dumb. I don't know. It's so dumb. Oh, yeah. It's not fucking dumb.
I love the naysayers.
Like, I remember when he opened up his third place. It's literally 0.7 of a mile from mine.
Yeah.
I'm in there opening night, helping him out. 95 people in there. I knew 2 people.
Yeah, that's what was
my bar's been in this town for 70 years, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew 2 people.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, he's got it.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, I bet you, both of you would be thrilled if either one of you or me opened up a bar across the street from
Absolutely.
You. You know? Like, a bunch of people right now, our third place, Pistolas del Sur, would reach out to me because Jennifer Fear Zavala, she, I'm not sure what her Instagram handle is, but she's big on Instagram, and she's done the birria tacos for, I don't even, I'm going to sound so dumb. But anyway, she's done like a lot of different like pop-up chef stuff. Nice. And she was like behind that vegan meatball thing that, I don't know if you guys followed that. No. Like it won a meatball competition in South Philly and everybody lost their shit over it. I was like, it's so funny. But she's great. She's a ball buster. She's got huge energy. And she just signed a lease to open up her concept, which is tamales and birria, which is Mexican, directly like 10 paces across the street from Del Sur.
All the does help you.
I'm like thrilled. We just ran into her today for the first time outside of her place, and we're just like, whatever you need, you know, because it's too hard being alone, man. We need a network, dude. You guys know it gets lonely. Like it's like
they got a place to go drink.
Yeah, we used to be. The only reason we're in this is because we were social, fun, awesome individuals at one time, and now we own businesses. It's like, exactly right. How do we hold on to that? So we gotta hang out with each other more. Yeah. Anyway, I think I really strayed off the fucking conversation.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's cool. There's no time limits here.
Fishtown's an amazing situation too. I remember when that was nothing.
I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Like I don't even understand. Like
it's the oldest part of the city.
We were so busy. Yep. We were so busy on Monday, July 5th. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I get it.
Not
the
prepared
4th,
for it. Yeah.
Like, well, but like now, like I've told them, like they've done a good job. Like, we lost a couple really good people during COVID, and like not dead, but like, and to be completely honest with you, I put a lot of it on myself. Like, I felt like I did a lot, but I definitely could have done more. And like long-term employees that just got burnt out.
Yeah.
And I'll never forgive myself for it. But you know, the guy running it now, this dude Leighton Phillips, he's worked for us a couple different times at other places. He's one of these dudes that bounces around and works at dope ass places. He's gonna open his own place one day. It's gonna be great, and you should hope it's across the street from you.
Right.
But I mean, he just came in with such a huge positive energy, and like he honestly, our former GM, Jose Nolasco, we called him Big Mex. And he's the shit, dude. He's the man. But, like, he's the guy. Like, I felt like we burned him out. And it'll kill me till the day I die. But,
it's very honest.
But Leighton came in. And they were really good friends for a long time. I think they were roommates. Leighton came in just to help him out a little. And, like, when Mex told us he was going, like, I was like, is there any way, you know? Are you in? And then he was in. And he's just taken it to a whole new level. Level. It's like, and also like it doesn't hurt that the neighborhood, like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like we're on the brink of the Roaring 20s.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just crazy, and there's gonna be scary things with that. Like,
Yeah.
we have to retrain people to realize, I know it's not cool to tell people they're too drunk,
Right.
but
Yeah, we need
it's
to
also
now.
safe.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know? And like, we have to.
You can't sleep at night if you're running a shop like that. You know what I mean?
God, oh,
Yeah, I'm there to the bitter end now because like Marty's is like a mini La Costa more than a neighborhood bar anymore. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
100%.
I'm like, what the hell? I remember like the first time I had the deck and the beer garden open and everything like that, and then I was just this was a new thing. We like kicked everybody out like we normally do. Boom, at the same time, everybody kind of took a room and moved everybody out. And I looked out the parking lot. I was inside dealing with something.
everybody was.
There's like 150 people in the parking lot at 2 a.m, like having like a party. And like, I was like, fuck, this isn't good. This is going to be too bad. So it was like the first, the weekend or whatever. And, and it was great. Like it was the weekend we were officially allowed to, not socially distance and all that good stuff. And it's like, fuck. But now and I never thought I'd ever have to close before too. Like who would do that? But now it's like you close different. You close at 1:15 on one section, then you close it, and then push everybody in the pub that was slower to let them get one more down there. But then half the people leave, so now you're still in an organized fashion. You're moving people out the door while you're still making a little more without being greedy.
I'll never forget. I was living in Ireland, and there was I was in a club. It was like they have 25 and overs over there, and they were open till 4:00 in the morning, and in the middle of the bar. They have, I don't even know what you call those, like the metal gates you have in the city. They come down on the outside.
Yeah.
The roll-ups, overheads.
So
gates.
3:00 in the morning, it goes down about a quarter of the way, just around the bar on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another 15 minutes, it goes down another quarter. Come 3:45, can I get 2 Guinness and a shot of Patties? And I didn't understand why until they fucking finally closed it, and then people were just going bananas inside the place, like If you had like any whiskey left, it was like having an 8-ball of cocaine. You know what I mean? Like it's wild, but it's the same thing you're talking about. Like you have to stagger it a little bit. You know what I mean?
And I think people were fucking pissed that they had a year of going out taken away from them. I think that we're, like right now, like this holiday weekend we just had, we were kind of fighting for who's left. Like the local bar, whoever's in our area, whoever's open, whoever's left and whoever's local, you're competing for that group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whereas if it's a normal weekend, it's like everybody's everywhere. And I feel like people come out like when I'll say to him, "Were you busy?" He's like, "Yeah, it was packed." And I'll be like, "Yeah, so was I." And then another night I'll be like, "Was it slow this weekend?" He's like, "Yeah, it was slow." It's like they just come out in waves,
like
Yeah.
And I think it's our area more than like the city, but.
Well, the city, like, it's funny. Like, one of our guys reached out and was like, "So are we closed for the 4th?" And like, one of me and Joe's things is like, "No, we're not fucking closed.
No, we're
not closed.
We're never closed.
We're closed on Christmas.
That's it.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve we close a little early.
Yep.
And Thanksgiving, and one of the bars we open up at night on Thanksgiving. Thanks drinking. But actually, I will say. After all this COVID shit, the driving force is that there's a couple things that really need to be addressed, like repair and maintenance wise, at all 3 of the places, but at Jose specifically. So I said to Joe, I was like, "Dude, we got to do a couple things. Maybe we close down for a week in August." And a lot of places in Philly used to do it.
Yeah.
Like that last week of August, closed down. It's like, because we could do it while we're open, but one of the big things is HVAC. So what? We're going to work on the HVAC and try to stay open, And he was all about it. And then it just kind of went into, what? This has been a tough
everybody
year.
a week off. Yeah.
All 3 places, a week off. So I guess it's, what is it, the 23rd to the 29th. All 3 of our places are going to be closed. We got shit to do. A couple, like I'll be there. Joe will be there. A couple of us will be there to like just supervise bigger projects and shit. And the staff just mental health break, man.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I think that's something positive that came from COVID. Like
Being able to pause.
Yeah, we got to pause. We got to think about important shit. We also got to think about fucking mental health, man.
Yeah.
Like, we are so work in America, dude. And I'll tell you what, dude, I'm tired of it. like I want to build some of this shit in. Like when we bitch about, minimum wages going up, it's like, stop it. There's no reason people should make $2.83 anymore.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
Like we made the change not early on, but we made the change a while ago to go to $7.25 plus tips, pooled house. And it's like, I thought it was going to really look so much different when I did payroll. And it honestly didn't look all that different.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, yeah. But we've always been a proponent of, we make less money. And in turn, I'm not ghost dad,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't, I respect the shit out of you for having the energy and the ability to be able to be there till close every night. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. No, I only do it now because,
There's
Marty's
changes.
is different. It's growing. It's growing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
So we
like-
get somebody in there that can take care of that when I'm not there.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's about getting my managers a break, so they're not doing it.
Yeah, your
They
place
burn
is
them
so
right
good.
out. Nice,
Like
man. Appreciate
Marty's is.
it. Nice, man.
Marty's gonna be there for a long fucking
Yeah,
time.
well.
I think so.
Yeah, well. And it's been cool to see the process of it too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like, I remember driving before I knew Joe. I remember
can't
driving down and seeing like, all right, what's he doing on the side of the building?
Dude, it's like
all right,
a
what's he doing in
yeah.
front of the building? You know what I mean?
It's like a Phineas and Ferb episode.
I
He's
don't
like
know.
building a roller coaster over there.
I don't know if you know what it was before then, but it was a place called Naz's. It was like
Yeah, no. I
mean,
moved out here and it was Marty's.
you
and it
walked
was
in
like,
and it looked
but
like cockroaches
none
holding
of your
hands.
stuff was done. Really?
Yeah. But so the guy Naz that owned it, he was a bookmaker, and one of my dad's best friends, and they used to have a bookie parlor on top of there. And I used to go there as a kid, and my old man would play horses upstairs. Like it was that old school. Some guy was stirring a gravy. It was like Goodfellas up there.
Wow.
It was amazing.
This is
So
my
just to
favorite
watch the
thing
process has been amazing.
About Nick's roast beef and like I used to live in South Philly, like a block from the original Nick's
So
roast
good.
beef, and like it didn't matter if it was Super Bowl Sunday. One of the TVs, no matter what time, one of the TVs was on the horse
Yeah,
races.
so usually right by the door, right?
It's just like, all right, cool. It did not matter.
That place is amazing.
I love that place.
Yeah. So simple too. You look
great,
at
dude.
that model.
It's great.
It was like, I think, was it 3 different sandwiches 25 years ago? Just
It still
going
is.
for 10 top rounds on a Monday.
Pork, ham, and roast beef. I think they do turkey now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The waitress with writing nothing down, doing everything in her head. Yeah. Amazing stuff.
The other thing that I remember when we first started talking, before I told you about the podcast, and you kept glancing over because we were talking about Pistolas, but the brewery. So the whole brewery licensing in PA has fascinated the shit out of me because of it's probably the easiest way to get involved in this business, licensed in a licensed capacity. But obviously, there's a lot of expenses, and you have to know how to make beer, which. I've never had a friend give me a beer that they made that I thought was good. I'm like, what the fuck are you telling me? Why did you give me this? like it's, and I mean, now things are a little bit different, but I remember America, like America U Brew and like these places
Shit,
that
I'm
like
so
popped
pissed
up.
I forgot to bring that growler because this is the perfect time to be like, well, bitch.
Yeah.
And then you like lie on camera.
Yeah, right. But no, I had like carboys and like the plastic jugs, and I tried doing it, and I thought that was going to be great, and I followed everything to the T, and anyway, and then I'm like, yeah, there's no fucking way. I'm like, I gotta forget about finding a chef. I gotta find a brewer if I want to start a brewery, or some sort of brew pub concept.
So much goes into it.
Yeah, but so tell me about your place.
So, all right. First of all, yes, all of those things you just said are correct. I'd start by saying home brewers are different than breweries.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest it's one of the biggest insults. When you open up a bar and you have that dude that comes in and he's like, you should. We always call them the you shoulds,
Yeah.
You should do karaoke every night of the week. Awesome.
Yeah. Guy last night just saying that. Like literally, like last night at Marty's saying the same exact thing.
Is every fucking
Bobcat
night.
there?
It's always packed in here, man. Shit, that was a little Bobcat, right?
Perfect. That's pretty good.
But I've quickly realized that, like, and I'm not even the brewer, dude. I am so not the brewer.
Right.
But like the biggest insult now is when somebody sits at the bar and like, let me try some of your home brews. Like, no. So Trouble's End Brewing. I wanted to do something completely different, and the biggest difference that between Trouble's End and any other brewery, or most other breweries, I should say, especially in Pennsylvania, is that, yes, you are correct. It is so much easier to get into, at least license-wise, financially.
Sure.
Like financially licensed, it's much cheaper to get a brewer's license, okay? What does that brewer's license entail? It says that you can serve your beer. You can serve any beer from Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can serve any Pennsylvania product.
Any
spirit.
spirit. Yeah.
Now,
Favorite.
there are some loopholes there where people say that, well, because of Commonwealth and Pennsylvania,
Right.
they buy the products, or they're all Pennsylvania products. So some people actually do it,
Right.
and they serve like
no
Jameson or Kettle One with that shit. Technically, like for me, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
it's
right,
going to
right.
go one way or the other, where the
Yeah.
PLCB is going to be like, nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Then you're going to have to explain to your customers why you don't have half your fucking menu there.
Right, yeah. So the first thing we did different was we coupled it with an R license.
Oh, really?
So we have both licenses, which you guys know that cost us
A lot of money.
off the bat
Yeah.
another 150.
Easy,
You know,
yeah.
easy.
If you got a good deal, yeah.
You know, but the whole concept is, again, just like Pistolas, we're all about showcasing beer, showcasing quality in spirit, showcasing quality in product. And like, as much as I love Pennsylvania, we're not the be all end all.
Right.
So, and especially out there, it's like people, you know, there's families and shit, and you know, not every wife and kid, but not everybody likes to go to breweries. So like maybe mom or maybe dad wants to go and just have their kettle and soda, or you know, a Tito's martini, you know, or whatever, you know. So we're able to serve that other stuff. We're also, the biggest thing that does for us is, I'm sure you guys have been to that brewery, wherever it is, that has 4 different IPAs, a couple double IPAs, a Saison, and a this.
And like an amber or
Yeah.
something
Okay.
easy to drink, yeah.
Since we can serve beers from all around the world, all around the country, like, we really don't brew IPAs.
Well,
We don't
explain
really-
to everybody why everybody brews IPAs initially.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm right about it, but I like, first of all, IPAs are great. Like, they're easy to turn around.
Right.
You can hide a lot of mistakes in IPAs.
It also doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Doesn't need to be, well, that's why India Pale Ale was created.
Yeah, sure.
Like, IPA
exactly
stands for
right.
India Pale Ale. It was created for crossing the ocean.
Shipping it to
You know,
the
when
soldiers. Yep.
India was a colony of the United Kingdom or Great Britain, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to look dumb again.
Nope,
Sorry.
you're right.
It was great at making me look dumb. But you know, it needed to survive the trip.
Yeah.
So, but I love IPAs. I really do. And it's definitely the trendy thing. You know, I mean, since we opened up Jose's all that time ago, like it's almost become a game trying to pick the trend. And there was the white IPA, and then there was the black IPA, and then there was the I mean, what were some of them? I'm forgetting a couple, like, awesome, but there was the Imperial Pilsner, which is the worst idea of all time, in my opinion. We, like, our brewer, his name is Zach Svoboda. He was a dance major at UArts. He worked at Farmer's Cabinet. He worked at Monk's Cafe. He was a brewer at Forest in Maine. He was a brewer at Hermit Thrush in Vermont.
Nice.
He, he was about to get out of brewing. Honestly, because he was kind of like, he's a really progressive dude, and he was kind of sick of like how wasteful the brewing industry is. Like, not many people realize how much water you waste and how much material you waste through brewing. So, and like, it was something that was important to me and Dave and Nick and my partners, and Zach is our partner too. But we didn't really know how to execute it properly. And Zach had that mindset, but also Zach doesn't give two shits about brewing an IPA. He will. And like we actually had to force him to brew our first one that we didn't call an IPA, and it's not an IPA, it's a hoppy pale ale. But he more specifies on like English dry stout, English bitter, a hoppy saison, like pilsners, like smoked lager. Like shit that just people don't get. Like my favorite beer that we've brewed so far is called the Rapture Ready. And it's a Schwartz beer, dude. It's a dark lager. And it's so good. It's got so much body and so much like so many intricacies to it, but it's poundable.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to bring back like the 4% beer, dude.
Yeah,
like so you're gonna have 12 of them and feel good about yourself.
Well, having a brewer doing what he wants to do too, or she wants to do, is it's going to be a game changer. Anybody putting their passion into it.
Yeah, dude, and he also we make our own. He's helped us, and will continue to do so because he's very busy. So we haven't hit everything yet. This is and it's my philosophy on all bars. It's if you do it right, it's a living organism. It's
Absolutely.
Constantly moving a target,
Yep. We just talked about that earlier.
Yeah, he's like we make our own sodas.
Cool.
So, and we don't make them in a mass fashion. We make syrups. We have our own club soda like on tap. Like it's not our own seltzer on tap. So
That's
it's
great,
like,
man.
Yeah, it's great. It's like first of all, I'm not paying Philly Extract $1 gazillion a year.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying all this money to Vineland Syrup to rent their gun, and I'm not buying like all these like bag in a box sodas that are super wasteful to the environment. We make syrups, and then our bartenders or our servers, get a glass of ice, pour syrup into a chicken to mix it up.
Man.
And we have a cola, an orange cream soda, a lemon lime, and like there you go.
And that gives you the opportunity to bottle it down the road if you want to.
Yeah,
right?
if we want, but I mean, we'll probably who knows, whatever.
Sure.
We can't even. But we're not even canning our beers yet. Like it's growler. We're bottling a couple large format bottles, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's the biggest difference between us is that we're going to brew what we want to brew. And again, I love going to some breweries that like specialize IPAs and stuff. It's just not what we want to do.
Yeah.
We want to specialize. Like we want people to specialize in what they're good at. Like, I've been doing a ton of shit at the Pistolas restaurants for a long time. Not necessarily shit that I'm good at. Like, if I were doing the things I were great at Pistolas, I'd still be tending bar.
Right.
That's what I was really good at. Doing books, running business. I don't necessarily think I'm very good at that. Somehow I make it work. At Trouble's End, I'm booking bands. And like
that's awesome.
And playing music and like and unfortunately we opened up 7 days before the first shutdown.
Yeah.
So I'm only doing like solo artists, duets at brunch so far, and like we're just our staff is incredible, so we don't want to stretch them thin and expand our hours to make it sense to have full live shows yet, but we're hoping to move towards that by the middle of September.
What are your hours?
Right now we're 4 to 11 Tuesday through God, I should really know this. I'm sorry, Dave.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday through Thursday, 4 to 11. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday we're open at 11 for lunch. I'm so sorry, Dave. I don't fucking know our hours. Saturday we open at 11:30 or 11 o'clock or something, and then we do brunch on Sundays, and we're open till like 11 or 12 at night. But we're probably not going to go till 2 a.m. But again, other breweries have to close at midnight. We could go till 2. We're probably going to go till 1.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're probably going to go till 1, just like to kind of like that 1 hour we kind of feel like is like big for our staff. Yeah. You know, maybe if you guys get out, go have a beer somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, enjoy, talk about your night. Like we don't want to close at 1 and have our staff chill there till 3 like we all used to do.
Right.
You don't remember that. But yeah, we plan to have live bands at least like Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. I'm not sure yet. I'm still kind of formulating. I haven't booked bands since 16, 17 years ago when I was at Fergie's, except for like a couple times at Jose's. I spent the better part of 10 years, better part of like 12 years singing lead in a band called Welcome to My Face, an 80s hair metal tribute band.
Nice.
So like I kind of stopped playing, and because everybody around me was so much better at it, you know, but I could sing, you know, so I was like, you can't sing like me, so cool.
So I saw on the internet, did you try out for The Voice? Is that true, or is it?
I tried out for it, yeah. My nieces and nephew, my noofuses, I created a word. I had 2 nieces. I have 2 nieces and 1 nephew. And it was just always awkward saying, I'm going over to see my nieces and nephew. You know, so I was like, noofuses sounds good. Going to see my noofuses. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I tried out for it. I don't know. That's like, that got a little press. And it was like, weird that it did, because I've done some way more dope shit than that in my life. Like,
well, it's poppy, you know. You're a celebrity in the city.
Dude,
when
I was
to
in
food and beverage.
fucking 6th grade, I fucking sang in Westminster Abbey.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, like done some dope shit that
really cool,
I will
man.
never forget.
That's really
and as a
cool.
dad, that's what I struggle with. It's like, how do I have any chance of giving my kids a scintilla of that kind of fucking like experience,
right?
You know? It's like, just do your best. Like my grandfather is, God rest his soul, but he, my dad told me this. He said, he Irish Catholic dude, had 8 kids, and his 8th was my mother, who he adopted. And he adopted her when she was, they took her in as a foster child when she was 14. And they finally adopted her when she was like 60. You know, like, but he said to my dad, he's like, Jerry, you do the best you can as long as you can.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do.
That's true.
You know? And that's kind of, I mean, wow, I can't believe it. All right. I feel like we're getting emotional. Do you have any Ani DeFranco? There's tissues or something.
God, just saying that name gives me creeps. I used to have this girl I went to college with.
There's always a girl. Oh my God.
No, she was a work buddy, and she used to pick me up every day. And she liked women, and she picked me up every day with Ani DeFranco playing to work and back, and that's all I heard for 2 years.
God damn it, Ani DeFranco.
It forced me to buy a car.
She's really, really talented. But, well, there you go. You know, bright side.
Right.
She's really, really talented. But, yeah, I dated a girl that was all into Ani DeFranco, and she might have ruined my life. But anyway, I don't know. My life is pretty good. She kind of ruined it. Can't believe Ani came up.
So what are you doing with food at the brewery?
All right. So great question, and thank you. I refer to him as our number one draft pick. This dude, Chris Service.
Damn, that name sounds familiar.
Chris Service. He owned a place with a couple partners called Blue Duck. First, it was in Northeast Philly, and he'll get mad at me because I don't know if it's Bucks or Ben Salem or Northeast Philly or what the fuck. I think it's Northeast, whatever. But and he just has this style of cooking in my eyes that's like this kind of elegant gastro, over the top comfort.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I actually met him because my partner Don at Pistolas became buddies with him, and he would come to our places and shit. And we just liked his food, you know. Just through the years, I got to know him, and then he opened up the Northeast Sandwich Company at the Shore or something. I guess I should know more about about my chef, but and very long story short, it just kind of didn't work out with his partners for a while for a couple different reasons. And he had his own place, like the original Blue Duck in Northeast. I think it was called not Culture, not Heritage. Maybe it was Heritage. No, I can't remember. But when we were looking for chef, I reached out to he was at Sancho's one night, and I was just like, listen, we're looking, if you should have the conversation with us at least. Like, I think this is a slam dunk. I think it's a great place. It's a great partnership. I'd love to see if you wanted to have a conversation about it. So we talked about it a little bit, and he first said no. And I could, like, it's because he owned his business,
Sure.
but it's like, it was almost like I could tell he's like, I can't, like, I just did this and I don't want to bail on the people around me. And that's the kind of guy he is. He's like, it was less about him owning the business, and it's not like it was crushing it at the time. He just didn't want to bail on his servers and cooks.
It wasn't a vanity thing. It was a loyalty thing, right?
Yeah. And
no matter what, it feels like you're stepping back too, opposed to forward. And that,
right.
You know,
I guess. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
And I said to him, I'm like, look, I appreciate everything you said. But I'm not going to take totally no for an answer yet. I'm going to do my due diligence now. You have been our number one draft pick. We want you. But now, for the next, 2 weeks, I'm going to go and talk to other people. I'm going to try a lot. And then I'm going to come back to you in 2 weeks and see what you're thinking. Then, I don't know if it was 2 weeks. It might have been 3 weeks. I reached back out to him. And he's like, you know what? I think I'm in. And he came in and the dude's great. His food's awesome. I think he has not had the ability to be as great as he can be right now because we've been in the middle of COVID and we've had to do so many different things and we've had to pivot so many times. And he's, quite frankly, we're always struggling with staff. And we have not close to as bad as other people, but we're struggling. He's about 1 to 3 dudes away from really being able to be the chef that he deserves to be.
Right.
You know, and I fully think this place will grow and he will be our partner soon and all that stuff. I really do. And that's kind of the stuff. I guess one of my faults, a lot of people would look at it as, but I look at it as a plus. Is I speak my mind all the time. You know, if I'm pissed at you, you kind of fucking know it. And if I really want you, you kind of know it. You know, I don't have much of a poker face at all, even when I'm trying. You know, I just don't. Right. And that's cool. I'll take that shit. But he yeah, you know, he's said to me before, he's like, I'm thrilled, man. I found the last job I'm ever gonna have.
That's great.
You know, and I hope that's the case because I think he's so super talented, and I look forward to the fact. I look forward to the time where staffing isn't as much of an issue as it is right now. And like I said, we're in better shape than a lot of people I know.
Right.
But it's like we're a very busy restaurant right now, and we're fortunate to be so, especially when we opened up. But we need, I'm so excited about when he can use the creativeness that I loved him for. Like we do specials every day.
Yeah.
Every single day he has like 2 or 3 dope ass specials. And like it's crazy. I love his stuff, man.
I couldn't imagine having to open up a place during COVID. I couldn't imagine.
We didn't. We opened it up 7 days before.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
It's crazy.
I mean, you're literally trying to build a house on shifting sands at all times.
Did you were talking about booking bands? Like I hadn't done it in, like I said, like 16, 17 years or something, except for like a couple things. And you're opening a place, and we're not the type of, it's not like we have loads of money.
Right.
So it's not like other places that'll be like, all right, well, we figure construction will be done around the 18th, and then we'll open up on the 1st.
Right.
Like, we're trying to figure out when the fucking last thing gets in place so we can open the door the next day.
Yeah, right.
So when you're booking bands, that presents itself a problem. Yeah. Like, my idea was to, like, all right, it's going to be dope. Every like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, Sunday brunch, music from the first day, and all of a sudden this community is going to be smacked with this thing in their face. It's going to be great. But I had to, like, within a week, I had a bunch of different bands kind of like on hold and like, I'm not sure. I think it, and if like you've ever been in a band, it's like, this guy might be full of shit. I don't know.
Right.
So, but I did it like 3 days in. 6 days in, I finally had booked. My goal was 45 days. I wanted to book 45 days out from our opening, which isn't 45 shows, but it's a lot of shows. Right. And I had just finished it. I had a residency with the Butchie Band, the dude from Splintered Sunlight, which is Jerry Garcia band.
Yeah.
Tribute. It's fucking dope. They were doing once a month. This band Tromba, this band the Living Sample, Andrew Lipke, like some dope ass like stuff, and like it. I swear to God, it was like a half an hour after I booked that last one. My partner looked at me and was like, "So I think we gotta close, right?" I was like, I think fucking so. And I'm like calling people. I'm like, all right, Pat, I guess. Like literally that day I had Pat Finnerty, who, if you have not seen Pat Finnerty fucking perform. In fact, this is on Instagram, follow the Pat Finnerty Show. All right? Like follow the Pat Finnerty Show. This dude is ridiculous. I have a great story about acid that comes into play with Pat. But he does live band, or he did, but pre-COVID, live band karaoke every Friday,
awesome.
Saturday night.
That's great.
I love that.
Fergie's.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never seen anybody do it better. The dude's like just ridiculous. But I had him slotted to do every Thursday night live band karaoke out there. So the first night we opened, he played, and like I rocked out with him. The first song we played was he's like, Case. We didn't talk about it at all. He's like, I want you to do Sting. And he's like, that guy. He's like, I want you to do Sting. And he looks like this. He's skinny, fucking tall as shit. And he's just always like, he's not quite fucking right. But he's like, I want you to do Sting. I'm like, what do you mean Sting? He's like, I want my MTV. I'm like, all right, fucking A. And he's just like, bam, 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 and then he starts playing Money for Nothing. And the first song I ever played at fucking Troubles End Brewing was Money for Nothing, me with the Pat Finnerty Band. It was fucking dope. Cool, the whole place was rocking. It was great. Anyway, but yeah, he was supposed to, the night we closed, it went from, or the last night we were open, and like when my partner looked at me and said, I think we got to close. My friend Allie Wadsworth, who sings her ass off, she was in town. She moved out to work at her sister's restaurant in like the Arizona desert, and it's apparently dope as fuck. I can't remember the name right now. I'm sorry, Allie. But she's like, I'm in town. I'm coming out to sing with Pat tonight. I'm like, fucking A, that's so dope. Great. Because like we've rocked together a bunch of times. And then like I call Pat. I'm like, dude, I don't think you can come out tonight. And he's like, I don't think so either. So I don't know. And then Allie was on a plane back to fucking Arizona. Wow. Anyway.
Cool. Just real quick. So bands, now that we're, post-COVID and, the brewery's open and everything, what do you got lined up? You got a full schedule, or you're slow rolling it with some...
Not quite yet. And I honestly, like I just said, like I had like run like crazy trying to get those first 45 days. And now it's almost like, all of COVID, for every part of the brewery, it's been like this kind of pleasant surprise of like, a year-long soft opening.
Yep.
And I think we would have lost a lot of great people, and I might have lost my mind if I went right into 4 or 5 days a week, full band. So right now, we're only doing brunch music right now. I'm playing there with my boy Frank Vasile, August 8th. I mean, every Sunday we do a brunch artist. Third Sunday of the month is Kevin Hansen. He's played in Huffamoose, the Fractals.
Nice.
He's just dope as shit. He's been on tour all around the world. This dude, Christopher Farrell, who does a lot of Mediterranean stuff. He plays in a band called The Living Sample. That their full band will be out. I'm actually really trying to book a lot of female artists now. I have Mia Johnson coming in like once every like 6 weeks starting in August, and she's hooked me up with another person and a couple other female artists to kind of want to, like, I feel like we forget about that stuff,
We used to do a showcase once a year. Mia would play.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it, like when we talk about diversity and stuff, it's really it's a great conversation, but really the work that needs to happen is the recruiting and like the constant thought of, all right, but I need this.
Yeah.
I need, I need different styles. I need women on stage.
Yeah.
So Mia's going to be playing there. Basically, everybody I have for brunch right now are basically like placeholders for when we go to nighttime, and then I'll probably bring in like a new crew of like, or at least like half of a new crew of the brunch guys, and let some of those guys that have full bands go to the nighttime.
Cool.
The Pawn Shop Roses, they've been playing as a duo. Great. Dad and Company, they like members of the Whiskey Hicken Boys and a couple other different bands put this band together called Dad and Company.
I think I've heard it, yeah.
They're really good, man. Really
I think I've heard about them.
Big Mind will be playing there. We'll be going back with the Butchie Band, which is Butchie from Splintered Sunlight, his Jerry Garcia band tribute.
I've seen him at Montauk Opera House.
Yeah, so I don't have him booked right now because I just haven't started booking it yet. I think what we're going to do is continue with the soft opening idea. We love our staff, so we don't want to tax them to death. Because need, honestly, I think we need about like 2 to 4 more solid like server/bartenders so that we can expand hours and not make people want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Go to 1 a.m. and then hopefully I'll do like 2-3 single shows in September. Get people used to it, and then hopefully by October will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Nice.
And then I think we'll probably just start with one show, but then I hope to grow it to like we have a solo artist from 5 to 7. We have something a little bit bigger from 7 to 9, and then from 9 to close we have a full band.
Yeah.
Andrew Lipke. Andrew Lipke has been in the band Franz Schubert. He did the thing at the Kimmel Center, which was Brahms versus Radiohead.
Oh wow!
He's the friggin' man. He was the everyman in the band Get the Let Out.
Oh yeah.
Like
seen those guys too.
And so you've seen Andrew. He's the man.
A lot of bands managed by Frank Kelp.
Yeah, he's
much ones you mentioned. Yeah,
he's really really good. And honestly, just one of my most respected artists out there. I want to make it very much like an original venue.
Cool, I dig it.
That people can play covers, but the covers they're playing, like I'm not going to have Mr. Green Jeans and stuff like that.
It's more of a tribute thing.
Yeah, there's a place for that.
Sure,
but it's just and I love going to see those bands, but I want people to do their versions of stuff.
Right.
Like, you know, so I'm still looking. I mean, honestly, if you know people or if anybody watching this wants to submit, it's Casey@troublesandbrewing.com. Hit me up. I would love to listen to your stuff. You know, I want to be outside the box. I want it to grow into like a kind of cool artist's refuge, a little oasis out there. The biggest thing I'm concerned about, or not concerned about, the biggest thing I'm thinking of is I don't want bands to have the pressure of bringing a crowd.
The draw.
I want our crowd to already be there,
right.
You know? So that means, you know, we're going to pay artists more than a lot of venues pay them, you know? And I can't even tell you what our structure is on covers yet. It's like on cover charges, I mean. It's like, I almost think, like, I don't know. I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
So I got one for you. Oktoberfest, right? I did this for 3 years in a row before COVID. I'm talking like the doppelgangers, or, you know, just legit, you know, German polka bands, Polkadelphia, like a bunch of those guys were out there. I think they did like a couple of them threw something together, but, and we had like these legit, like, the German bands, and it killed it. And we did good, except, you know, in the beginning we did tickets and I figured out that if I just take the cover charge away, because Delaware County hates cover charges, and just make the beer prices an hour more, I literally doubled the amount of people that came the second year, or it was actually a third year. And it wasn't because it just got popular. It wasn't. It was because I would hear rumblings of, you know, I had to pay cover, this, that, and the other thing. They much rather buy a Stein for $12 that cost me $3 and get a beer. So it cost me, let's say $5.50, whatever. And they're paying $12-$16 for that. And then that would be the cover in a way, you know what I mean?
But that's for like a one-off event.
Sure. I'm just saying, like,
how do you do it? Like, because I was thinking, it's like, all right, instead of charging cover charge, how about people that sit at a table, it's a $5 entertainment charge.
Yeah. And I think at a venue you could do that. When PJ mentioned Zanzibar, one of my favorite places back in the day.
Right, remember like the 2-drink minimum back
exactly.
in the day?
It was something like that. And you knew that going in, so there was no expectation. You went there knowing that that's what it was going to be.
Right.
And I feel like when I put music in front of people now, one, Marty's was so small I couldn't pay, you know, more than 100 hours a man type thing, really.
Right.
And to get more than 2 people, it was like, oh, geez, I'm going to take a bath tonight, you know? And then now we have more space, so it's like, okay, we have the potential to make money by the sale of alcohol to pay for the band. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you look at the bill and you look at what you're paying the band and you're like, oh, well, I probably should just like have Pandora playing in the background. I would have made twice as much profit. Now, I know it's a sellout, right? And I'm a music guy,
no, it's not a sellout.
Like, it's like, so I believe that I have the right to throw a party. And I could do it 4 times a month. I call it Saturday, and that's what we're doing. And we're starting with like duo trios, but like a lot of the bands that we have right now are like, hey man, we're going to play for a 5-piece. And I'm like, okay, let's do one like this, and then we'll do that, because I got to get, you know, there's a lot of people through COVID that came out that never been to the place before, and we got to get them like let them know there's music. So we're doing like what you kind of mentioned earlier, just dribs and drabs to be like, oh my God, that's a stage out back. You know, we also have to, I call it training in the neighborhood. We have to make sure that I have the sound dialed down and I have the right frequencies dialed, so I'm not blasting my neighborhood and pissing them off. That's so important, because guess what? When you get to the size of having Mr. Green Jeans or whatever the big band of the day is, then Popo is going to show up on the door and say, sorry, I can hear you from the curb, and that's the LCB rule. Right. Shut it down. Dude, and that's the worst nightmare in the world.
There's a whole nother conversation there that we don't even have time to get into.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
but I think crawl before you walk for sure. And I think you already hinted towards this when you said you have sound. Having a sound person is so important. I do it a lot because that's my happy place, to be behind a mixing board or an iPad or whatever, and just mix sound on a system I built and designed. Like, I love that. But I also know realistically when I'm not there, or I'm down the shore and the tuna bite's hot and I decide to go out fishing, when I'm not there, it's a train wreck. So it's like you need to have the importance of production and somebody to run it. It's not a bartender going and clicking buttons. It's somebody that you're now paying, and you're talking about more cost, right? So you're paying a booking agent a little bit of money, and you say, I know you're doing it now. I did it now. Now I got a great guy. I'll introduce you. It's just nice to have people that can handle things when the next big thing comes up that requires all your attention. Yeah. Even though I love doing that too. It's also nice to always be good cop. So it's always my job to give them, if it's 3 beers a man or whatever was negotiated, it's my job to give them a little more. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I'm always the guy that, and then, there's a hard conversation, like we're getting thunderstorms and we have to cancel. Well, then, the agent guy will take care of that, right? Yeah. And that sucks, but, they get it. People get it. You know Absolutely. What I mean? So, but I think more so now that musicians want to play, they deserve to get back to the rates that they had previously.
You know what? I got something that I think we should, and it's on me. Like, I haven't done it as frequently as I need to, but I want to start you remember the concept of the tip jar and all that shit?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to start the precedent of, on our websites and on our listings, we list the Venmo of the band.
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah. Because so many people right now would tip the band. Yeah. And it's those goddamn...
So smart.
It's like those, the Insta jukeboxes where I don't even like those things, but I like to throw money on.
Yeah.
Just fuck around.
Yeah.
So how many people would just be like, I'm going to throw them $5 right now. It's have it listed, man. So that's one of the things I told my guys, and we're going to pay them well.
Yeah.
We look at it as a concept of advertising at first, and hopefully by the time you're a businessman, all things all problems are solved by top line.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if our top line, it's if our top line is killing it that day, and by 8:00 we've already everything's gravy, then what do I care if I'm paying a band $1,600?
Right? Yeah,
that's a big number.
Yeah, it is a big number. Right?
And I do want to find a way to get a little bit of that back, but I'm not trying to make money on the band.
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure that band's happy and wants to play there all the time.
Yeah. That's how you get the best bands pick you over other venues.
Great sound.
Yeah.
Sounds
so crucial. That's our biggest compliment from musicians is how great our venue sounds. Both.
Dude, I have a house drum kit. I have a house mic'd up piano. I'm gonna have a house bass rig. I just, my son's taking bass, so I took the bass amp in front of my house. So, I got to get a new bass amp. But I like I said, I want to be outside the box. My boy Andrew sent me. I can't remember their name. I don't think they actually have a band name yet, but it's this string quartet, and it's all girls. They all play for the symphony and shit like that, but they do this. They want to start playing out where they'll play, a classical a quartet. They'll play a dope ass movement of something, and then they'll play a version of a Nirvana tune, all on strings. And the biggest thing is they get it. They're not going to be pissed if everybody isn't in their seat listening.
Right. Sure.
They're like,
they realize they're playing.
We know we're trying to break new ground here. Yeah. So I'm going to do shit like that, and what's the worst that happens? You have a bad show once in a while.
Yeah. Right.
You have a show where you should, the you should.
Yeah. I think the unique opportunity we have is our geographic. What works for you will probably work for me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's not, that's something we can collaborate on too. You know what I mean? When I catch something, also between folks that come over from Ireland or from Vegas, I got a lot of people that come in and they're looking to play 3 gigs. And that's perfect. We, because we're 2, we won't compete. Our people won't. Right. Not that I would care if some of my people came to your place and vice versa, but we can get them a couple gigs in the area, and that's,
I need to talk to you about that polka thing, man.
Definitely.
My brewer really wants to. He really wants to throw a couple festivals with some crazy polka shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right.
I think it goes over. It goes over for a brew pub. I don't know shit
about it though. So
Brow House. You think Brow House? You think brew pub? You think?
Right,
yeah. I think it works out.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Just keep the music playing, man.
All right. Well, thank you. This has been incredible. I'm thrilled to have met you. Seriously.
Listen, man, it's like I said, it's a pleasure. For a long time, I didn't come out drinking at all. If I can tell, because it's like, yeah, I drink enough everywhere else. But it's a pleasure, and I'm sure one day I will curse the day I met both of you.
Looking forward to it.
100%.
Fucking A.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. This has been awesome, and I look forward behind bars, dude.
That's it.
This is dope.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Cheers.